My name is Jason and this is Just Watches. Today we have a watch from Praesidus, which is a company that makes homages of the original A11 watch from World War II. You should really check out their site for more information on this. They took an actual vintage watch and then kind of use that as their inspiration to create modern homages and interpretations of it. Now this Spec 2 AmeriQuartz uses a quartz movement that's made right here in the USA. Now full disclosure, this watch was gifted to the channel for a review. I do not need to return it. Before we get to that review, if you are enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. This watch is currently available on the Praesidus website in a number of colorways and both a 40mm and 32mm size. The MSRP is $215. I have here the 40mm version, so of course it's 40mm in diameter, 47mm lug to lug, 13mm thick, and that includes about 1.5mm of this domed crystal, and then it has a 28mm lug with opening. Now on the supplied stock strap, it weighs in at 53 grams. Now this case is an interesting combination of sandblasted finish on everything but the top of the lugs and the crown. The high polished lugs are a nod to the chrome plating these watches would have used in the 1940s. I like the small splash of high polish here. It adds a bit of interest without making the watch too flashy. The lugs turn down ever so slightly and are drilled for easy strap changes. Now this 40mm is a nice middling size, but if you want something that's more close to those vintage sizes, you could always go with the 32mm version. The leather strap starts at 20mm and tapers slightly to 18 at the high polished pin and buckle. The hardware is unsigned, but we do have branding on the back stamped into the soft backing of the strap. There's minimal stitching on the top of the strap. The strap is soft and comfortable. It also features quick release pins for easy strap changes. The screw and case back is really cool. First, it pays homage to the original A11s with the interior shape, but then it also has this coin edge, which I really like. The caseback is very honest about the watch being assembled in the US using imported parts, but in an American-made movement. A few other brands have touted being made in America, but took a bit more liberty with that definition. Speaking of that movement, it's the AmeriQuartz 6130. These are produced by Fine Timepiece Solutions in the USA in Fountain Hills, Arizona. Very interesting to see these used. Mark from Long Island Watch also uses AmeriQuartz movements, and there's a really cool tour of their facility on his channel. AmeriQuartz indicates they use all metal components, and their movements are jeweled and serviceable. Now, they actually don't give specs for this movement on their website, but if I had to guess, they're accurate to plus or minus 10 to 20 seconds a month with an approximate battery life of 3 years. The 7mm push-pull crown is unsigned. It's high polish with knurling to assist with grip. I like larger crowns both visually and for ease of use. Being a quartz watch without a date, you're not going to have to adjust this one very often, but when you do, you won't have any issues doing so with this crown. This crystal is massively domed and is made of K1 glass. It also has a very healthy application of anti-reflective coating. The crystal causes these really amazing distortions and is a great nod to the acrylic crystals that would have been used on the originals. Ben's Watch Club has an amazing video where he tests all the types of watch crystals, and while K1 and sapphire coated crystals are more scratch resistant than mineral glass, they are not quite as scratch resistant as a pure sapphire crystal. The dial is a nice matte white. The layout is just like the original A11s. There's a full railroad track around the edges with each of the 10-minute intervals labeled with Arabic numerals. Moving in from that track, we have Arabic numerals for the hours as well. All of the printing is crisp, shiny black, and ever so slightly raised to mimic when these dials were hand-painted. There's no branding on the dial. The original A11s were made by multiple companies and also were not branded on the dial. Oftentimes they put the branding on the case back. Now the dial is incredibly easy to read with high contrast between the dial and the numerals. Also, I can't overstate how much the crystal distorts this dial. It's really fun. The sword style hour and minute hands are gray and filled with lume. The minute hand terminates at the outer edge of the minute track, making it very easy to read the minutes. The second hand has a counterbalance and is actually loomed on the tip. Now the gray can get a bit lost against the white dial. I think perhaps making the edges of the hands black would have made this watch a little bit more legible. Finally, the second hand registration is good, but not perfect. The lume on this watch is really cool. In addition to the hands, all of the Arabic numerals are bordered in lume. I'd like to see a slightly heavier application of lume, but I really like the layout they used. And here's the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think the 40mm size is going to work for a wide variety of wrist sizes, but I love that they give the 32mm option as well if you want to have more of the vintage size. For pros and cons, starting with the pros, well, vintage watches are a minefield to navigate and can be very expensive to acquire and service. This is a fantastic way to own an homage to a historical vintage watch, especially if you pick that 32mm version. Second, I absolutely love the dome on this crystal. I've handled quite a few domed crystals before, but the way this one distorts the dial is really awesome and adds to that vintage feel. Last, it's always pretty cool to see a watch that is using this AmeriQuartz movement. For cons, I think I would have preferred the hands be edged in black or blue. The gray can be hard to see against the white dial in certain lights. And second, while I love the layout of the lume, the application around the numerals could have been a bit heavier. While the hands stay lumed for quite a while, the lume around the numerals does fade rather quickly. For comparables, for less, check out the Saizen Dirty Dozen watch. I have a review up on my channel. For about the same price, you could get the Vaer Tactical Quartz, and that comes in 36mm and 40mm. For a bit more, and if you prefer an automatic, you could get the Bulova Hack. I've only briefly handled one in a store, but it was a really fun watch. So there you have it, the Spec 2 AmeriQuartz. What do you think about this watch? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you're enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe. And if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.